Hey, what's up guys, Diplex here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Born in the Fire America mod. In today's video, Confederate Marines are attacking a Union coastal position using the help of some seriously awesome steam warships. And speaking about warships, here is a message from today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by World of Warships Blitz. World of Warships Blitz is a free-to-play game available on the App Store and Google Play. Choose from 6 different nations, all with their own unique starting ship, and take command of historical World War II warships as you battle against other players online. I really love the feel of this game, and I'm not usually a fan of mobile games, but the controls are so easy to learn and the graphics are really impressive. You can upgrade your ship with the different consumables, supplies, equipment, and more. Once you level up, the tech tree is unlocked, revealing new and more powerful ships. On March 20th, World of Warships Blitz will be receiving a new line of ships, the German destroyers. Install World of Warships Blitz using my link in the description box below and receive a free German destroyer once you reach level 3 in-game. Thank you World of Warships Blitz for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to download the game for free now. And the battle has begun. Hope you guys are doing good today. So, I've got a new microphone. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of the sound quality. I think I sound a little bit more clear and a little bit more true to life. The old Blue Yeti I used to have for like, I don't know, 6 years now, was a little bit more bassy but not as detailed. So, yeah, hopefully it's a good experience. But alas, my missayings and mispronunciations and all the other sounds I make will be more easily heard now, so I'm going to try not be too overly conscious about it. Anyway, here we are currently looking at federal troops preparing for the incoming attack here. It's actually already begun, but the Confederate Marines have yet to make it to the beach here. So there's a few fortifications. I wouldn't call it a coastal fort, but it's definitely a coastal fortification. We've got about 120 men or so ready, standing by, and we've got a few reserve lines here behind the actual barricades or the actual fortifications, ready to take up positions where former Union soldiers have stood but fallen. Potentially to the Confederate Marines. This is a very untold story, so anything can happen. Oh, that's a nice hit. So we've got 2 Confederate steamships, or actually 4 in total, but 2 really big warships coming in here, unloading Marines. Look at this thing. How amazing this one is. It's beautiful. It sounds great. It looks awesome. I've never experienced a battle like this with warships and boats that the infantry is just rowing ashore. Look at them. Totally amazing. And we're also using the new water system. So this is simulated water, not textures, which is awesome. So this is Men of War and Born in the Fire America on a whole new level. It's awesome to see this kind of old game still, you know, progress into the future. Alright, so we've... okay, well, it's about to go down. We have 1, 2, 5, 7 boats in total here, part of the first wave. And that steamship is making it to its position, and it's going to start bombarding the federal fortifications back here. Oh, the first couple of shots are off. The Confederate Marines are now close enough to the shore. Things are about to get really hot. Look at this Confederate officer in the front, standing like George Washington crossing the Delaware River. I hope I got that right. I'm sure it's the Delaware River. It'd be very embarrassing to get that wrong. But anyway, here we go. The first couple of Marines. Oh my god, blown away by shrapnel. Holy shit. Excuse my language. That was fantastic. Okay, we have more Confederate Marines coming in from the second steamship. And the Union infantry behind the first line, standing by, ready to engage, but they're holding. They're awaiting further instructions and orders. We do have a small section of barricades here on the left flank as well. Doing what they can to hold back the Confederate Marines. We do have 2 smaller steamships as well, firing at the Union positions, but they might be out of range. They're a bit far away, but they've been used as troop transports. This is awesome. So the Union has lost one artillery piece here. In fact, the gun is still working, but the crew is dead. And the rest of these guys don't know how to fully operate a piece, like a 12-pounder Armstrong, which I do believe this is. It's not a Parrott gun, but Armstrong and Parrott guns were both very common during the American Civil War. You had 12-pounders, I think you had 20-pounders, and 30-pounders, if I'm not too incorrect. 30-pounders sounds pretty freaking huge, but do remember, not all of these were fired shells. Some actually still fired round cannonballs. But it's an interesting period, because, you know, there were a lot of, you know, you were starting to get into not magazine-fed weapons, but in some sense, at least, bullets. I mean, I guess a musket ball is a bullet, but a musket ball doesn't have a shell casing or anything. So, yeah, it's an interesting period of time here. I think the flintlock muskets weren't even really flintlock muskets anymore, and some of these weapons are mostly considered rifles because they have a rifled barrel. Oh, I'm gonna dig myself a really, really deep hole here in this discussion, which I'm no expert in, or at all, but still, interesting period. So there's a variety of weaponry here, but for sure, the old-fashioned muskets were used during the Civil War to some extent. Of course, not all the infantry on perhaps the Confederate or Federal side could be equipped with the latest and greatest. But, oh my god, those steam warships out there now, pounding the Federal positions with volleys of fire. That is awesome. You can see the smoke in the distance. And the next wave has arrived. In fact, these boats travel so slowly that these guys that just hit the shore left their ship like 2 minutes ago. It's crazy, and these guys did as well. It's just fantastic. And we still have some survivors here on the flank, but they are a little more cautious, not that eager. Oh my god, the Union troops are getting bombarded. Taking casualties over here. There's just insane firepower in those steam warships, and we don't have any Union warships nearby to support. It'd be cool to have a few come in, but I mean that would be insane. And I'm giving myself ideas now, just having Union warships, more steamships roll in, perhaps even an ironclad engage these other Confederate warships. That would be awesome. But hey, there's more time and room for future battles of that kind. This boat was disabled, I can tell. It's taken a lot of shots of various caliber, so the infantry is forced to swim ashore. I think they might even have to reload. I've seen some having to reload after they've swum, but they're actually keeping their muskets above the water, which is really clever, which means they don't have to reload them. Get rid of the wet charge and stuff. I suppose they fired using a cap now. You had a cap instead of pouring gunpowder into the flintlock. So it's different. I get it. I understand. I definitely understand the difference of weaponry between the American Independence War and American Civil War. But I'm not that great when it comes to describing it and getting all the names correctly and whatnot. But yeah. Got a few officers up front here. Firing away. Look at them. Okay, I think it's about time the next wave of Union infantry gets sent in, because there are a lot of Confederates coming in now, but the reserves are so well disciplined, they're standing by like almost like machines, which in a sense they technically are in this game. But still, that explosive shell hit nicely, killed a few, I don't know, half a dozen Union soldiers here, part of the reserves. And the center is looking really weak now. It's looking super weak, and there are more Confederate Marines coming in. Like, boy, is this an awesome experience. Absolutely loving this mod. And if you guys want to see more Born in the Fire America mod, let me know in the comment section below. Oh, there we go. The next wave is being called in. in perfect timing. They can counterattack the Confederate Marines coming up the water now. Still receiving naval support back there. Let's have a quick look at the warships. I think you'd like to see these guys a little bit up close. Now, since the artillery has been destroyed, perhaps these warships are laying off the big guns down below because it could cause friendly casualties. I mean, if you look at this battle from a distance back here, oh, that's awesome. That one just fired. So they're taking a few cautious shots, but they're not being too eager to open up with the whole broadside because there's a lot of Marines. So looking at this from afar now, you got the boats arriving, leaving the ship. You see the various smoke whiffs and explosions back there. This game is truly beautiful in just so many ways. Oh, that one on the side fired as well. It's just, it surprises me. I haven't even asked it to, and it just did it. What a gentlemanly thing to do here, providing us with an even more cinematic experience. So that secondary line of reinforcement, I think third. I mean, that was technically the third line of. No, that was the second line of the reserves, despite it being here by the three in the rear as the first line, because there was a line which was hard to spot behind all the other infantry up at the front. They were standing a little bit behind the grouped up infantry by the obstacles, with a little bit of a space in between them, and they were sent in many minutes ago, and they have now started actually filling the positions where, as you can tell, former or not former, I mean they're still here, but where other federal troops have died. So we can tell they're practically standing above their fallen comrades. So the second line has been sent in, so in total there's 4. So 2 more waves of reserves here for the Union side. And I think the Confederates are starting to empty their warships. This could be the very last wave. We have 3 more boats coming in, so they're shipping in about 30 men per wave. And we should see 1 more from this right steam warship. And once it has left the warship, each of those boats will have landed exactly, I think, 120 each. So 240 Marines, plus 20 on this side and 20 on this side from these smaller boats, which didn't carry that many Marines. Just about I don't know, like almost a platoon of Confederate Marines. So some good numbers today, almost 300 up against the 120 or so Federal defenders. I like to say Federal more than Union. I mean, it's cool to say Federal troops. I get it, they're still the Union, and in a more common tongue, they're going to be called Union soldiers and for the Union. But they're Federal troops as well. Federal, I like it. It's like the Federal. It's like the FBI, you know. It's cool. It's Federal. Federal law, Federal officer. It's different than state and Union and whatnot. Or it's like the great state. It's like the top dog. It's above everything else. It's above the small chit-chat and small politics. It's on the biggest level. But anyway, Union troops, Federal troops, American troops, whatever you want to call it. I mean, American troops goes for both, but you know what I mean. United States troops, you can call them that as well. USA troops. It sounds a little off, but you know what I mean. Okay, the third wave has been sent in, probably a while ago. Not as many in numbers because of that artillery impact. But the fourth wave is standing by, and I think they will be sent in as soon as the final set of Confederate Marines hit the beach, which they will do in any second now. So there's 60 Marines coming in here. I don't even think we have 60 Union soldiers remaining. We probably have close to 40 or so. So this is going to be pretty awesome. We've totally lost this front here. The Union has been absolutely destroyed. Look at the casualties out here. Like, all the guns are broken or not in use. We got Union casualties all over the obstacles and fortifications. I call them obstacles because they look more like obstacles than like hard positions to hold. This is what I'd use to wall off things instead of... I mean, they're not hard cover, but I guess they stop bullets. They do. I don't know. fortifications, I think is a more correct word. Last wave is landing right now. Boats are having a hard time getting ashore because there's a bit of a... it's a little bit crowded. So I think these Confederate Marines are going to be forced to abandon the boats and swim ashore. We can see they're doing that right now. I mean, if the Confederate... Oh, look at this guy coming up close now. Oh, they're starting to really attack up the barricades. They're going to be shot dead. And it looks like the Union troops are starting to pull back slightly. Oh, that was so awesome. We barely missed it, but he must have shot that guy dead up close with that revolver. Looked like he put like 6 rounds into him. So the warships have done a lot of damage, but if a few more of those volleys had hit, this could have been a drastically different situation right now. But look, the Confederates are far from being done with this. They are still moving in. I see a few... I usually help the defenders, and sometimes people complain I don't help the attackers. We have some Confederates who actually... who are starting to, like, almost desert. These guys are doing good. They're all engaged, so I don't have to tell them to do anything. But the guys over on this side, they kind of just... After landing here on the side and being chased out, they kind of just abandoned the fight. So now that more reinforcements have arrived and that you guys have... Now that you guys have grown a spine, right? You've got an officer here. Like, what kind of role model is that? That's a bad example. Now these guys are going to get a little bit more involved. So there we go. You can call it a smart use of manpower, not dying out here by the beach, but by actually retreating to the side. But by... Bit of a speech impediment. But I'm starting to learn not to give a damn about the minor flaws of speech and video recording in general. I think chasing perfection, trying to record a video game and having an unplanned commentary, you know, unwritten or unscripted, is difficult. And you never notice any flaws when you watch something else because you don't think that you don't consider it being a film where there's a script and where they have retakes and everything. So if you spot something in a movie that's like sounds weird or looks weird, you're gonna be like, hey, that's not how it meant to be. This is more of a reality show. It's a semi-scripted reality show in general. So you know, because this kind of all just lives out on its own. We have the general basis for how it's supposed to go, but then the rest is just up to the game. I like these pools of blood, and I think that's probably the weirdest thing I've said all day today, but still, that's pretty cool looking. Oh, we had a little bit of a sneak peek at casualties there, but we're going to wait a little bit more until this battle is actually over. The Union is still holding this right side hard, man. Like, they're shooting away, man. And these guys, I don't know, I think they might... Are they going to, like, get in a boat and go? Or are they going to attack the Union troops from the side? We have a few back here by the camp, which is, by the way, like, almost totally wrecked because of the naval bombardment. So a lot of people aren't going to be sleeping under a tent tonight. But we have more Confederates coming in here from the flank, though. So this could turn out being a complete encirclement of Union troops here in the center, who have now almost completely beaten back the Confederate attackers. What an interesting development. All right, let's go for a final push now. Let's get these Confederate Marines up the water. I'm going to try and grab as many as I can, and we're going to charge at the enemy a little bit. Not necessarily in a suicidal manner, but just let's get closer, because we can't be down here by the water all the time. This battle, considering the weaponry, is going to last for frickin' ages if we don't get these guys closer. And no, don't give me any bullshit about me changing the tide of the battle here, or changing the outcome. It would, I guarantee you, almost be the same. In fact, I'm probably helping the Confederates now by simply getting them out of the water. But I'm doing this to make sure this battle doesn't last for 48 more minutes, having, 20 guys fire inaccurate rifles at each other, or muskets, or whatever you want to call them. And now we're getting some good action here. These guys are starting to get up close. But are these bastions, or whatever they're called, they're still providing good cover. I thought these guys were alive, but they're all dead. Like, they're all just like... This guy's like, look, it's like chilling. He's chilling on this thing. That is crazy, man. These two are just taking in the sun. What a meme. Like, look at him. He's having a crisp one over here, and these guys are just chilling. He's in a totally chill position with his, like, hands over his... He's got his one hand on his arm there, and the other one just across his lap. And this guy's still rowing. This guy's had a lot of moonshine. He doesn't know what he's doing. I can't even command him. He's gonna sit there and just do, like, this kind of dance. So this is a wonderful game. Always great experiences. So I think the Confederates have been more or less beaten back on this flank. Do you guys want to see some bayonet fighting? Fuck yeah, let's do some bayoneting, man. Not bayonet each other. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Alright, that's an eye for an eye. That was awesome, right? Worth it. We still have a few Union troops over here. They're kind of pulling back, but they're still fighting. They're fighting a very small amount of Confederates on this side. I think we might even have a few that's pulled back further. But listen, if they're going to run away and fight, I'm not going to ask them a second time. I'll ask them once, and then if they change their mind again, that's fine. Look at the casualties crowding these two. This guy's alive? Oh, the Confederates are actually starting to take over now. Bayonet fighting. They're winning this flank. This is such an interesting development. Alright. Let's get everyone just fucking bayonet fighting in the end here. Let's get the Confederates charging. Charge! The final Confederate charge! This is awesome. Look at them go, man. This is something the AI usually isn't going to do themselves unless you actually convince them to. This is awesome. I'm not sure who to call victor here, or winner or loser, because this is just such a crazy turn of events. We have a few Union soldiers we might be able to call in, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys. I think we're gonna have to call this a win for the Confederates. They deserve a win. I think the last couple of battles we've done have been Union victories. So the last remaining Federal soldiers are simply going to call to the retreat. They're going to run, and you know, send word that we've lost this coastal outpost. Just barely, though. A very small amount of Confederate Marines survive after a few cool bayonet charges, and this is it, guys. Let me open up the casualties, and we'll mark the Union casualties in yellow and the Confederate casualties in red. And you can tell it's been an absolute slaughter of Confederate lives today. This has been some Fort Wagner. What's the fort in glory? I should know this as well, isn't it? Fort Wagner? It's not Fort Sumter. I know that. Like that's a silly question. It's definitely Fort Wagner. Yeah. But except the Confederates are now on the Union side of things when it comes to casualties. This has been an absolutely disastrous day. But what a cool fight. Look at the aftermath here. People just chilling, man. This guy's like, looks like he's doing something with, you know, he's got his hand down there. This guy's got his hand down there as well. I don't know what's going on, man. But this is just casualties, man. Casualties are going to do whatever they want to do. Casualties cannot be held responsible for their actions. Hope you guys enjoyed this. You know what? Let's end it with a crisp one. God, I'm so crispy today. I got to go down and buy a Budweiser or something. Drink some water, which is meant to be beer. But anyway, let's open up a little bit. Yeah. All right. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon again. Ciao.